Good morning, guys. Happy Aphrodite Day. Today is a very special day because my five-year-old little boy, he breaks up from school today for 6 weeks, so it's his last day of being in year 1. So, and when he goes back to school in September, he will be in year 2. So yeah, it's so I'll be taking some time off to look after him and do adventure days with him, and they were also giving out free books and for the kids to take home, so I picked my little boy up some books because we will be going to York for a few days as like a little mini holiday for him, so we can see the railway museum, so we can go visit the York Museum, which has Greek and Roman artifacts in, and then we're going to the Roman Bath Museum. So we're going to have really fun adventure times through through the holidays. So I thought that with today being Aphrodite's Day, I thought it would be a perfect time to speak about Venus de Milo in Pompeii. So Aphrodite, I use the term work for worship, but I also use the same term work for when I actually do work with deities. So Venus de Milo, Aphrodite, as a soft polytheist I see them as the same one. She was worked with as a universal deity in Pompeii. No other deities really were getting worked with in Pompeii. It was strictly just Aphrodite. I know that a lot of people generally have Aphrodite, Venus de Milo. The universal side has been a UPG, when in fact it's a historical proof that it was actually done in Pompeii, where she was actually worked with as a universal. So everything about her ethics, which I personally don't use them because I see them all to do with her anyway. So she would have been worked with as like everything to do with the moon, the sun, nature itself, sea, love, like everything universal. She was seen as a deity who ruled everything. In my path personally, I do see Aphrodite as a universal deity, so I take after my spiritual ancestors. I see them as like the ancient Romans, Pompeii, ancient Greeks and ancient Egyptians as my spiritual ancestors. So I kind of follow in their path of seeing Aphrodite as a universal deity. But I also see the nymphs, the Graces as her children, personally, with being a mother myself. Eros as being her children, the Pleiades, the Muses, all, and Aphrodite, all ruling alongside her. And obviously I have a UPG with Pegasus and Orion, the two brother flying winged horses. That's my UPG. That is not historical evidence to say that they were worked with back in ancient Greece, but in my UPG path I do work with them. But Pegasus goes back to when I first saw the Clash of Titans film back in 2015. I fell in love with him, and I'm quite a girly person. So, I love anything to do with like flying horses and, everything that revolved around, that area, which also, goes back to like childhood days, of like, rainbow dreams and, everything like that. So, yeah. So there's actually, on the back of my Aphrodite statue that I got delivered from Greece, from eBay, there is actually a Pegasus on the back of her pink statue that I've got. So it is one of my favourite statues. I absolutely fell in love with the Pegasus on the back of her scallop that she's standing in. And so, so back on topic. So yeah, they were basically seen as a universal goddess in Pompeii. So she was the only deity that they was actually working with. No other deity in Pompeii was actually getting worked with when Aphrodite was seeing, when they saw Aphrodite as a universal goddess. So that basically covers everything to what other deities would rule over. Like a lot of people would see Apollo and Helios, to do with the sun. And then they would see, Selene to do with the moon, and and Artemis to do with the moon, or Hecate, with whoever, which one they're working with. But Aphrodite does have a connection with the moon. She does actually rule over the moon. She's from foam of the sea, so she has sea connections. When she would be seen as in Pompeii as something to do with the moon, and one of her ethics is actually golden, so she does have, she does rule the moon also. So when you look at your deities, if you look at all their ethics, they are warriors, they're moon deities, they're sun deities, they're ocean deities, mountain, they're literally everything. So, but they wasn't using any of her ethics. Pretty much to what I don't use them because I see them all connected to her. So when people have been seeing Aphrodite as the universal goddess, she actually isn't. It's historical fact. Not much is known on the worship of Aphrodite in Pompeii. There's only like a small detail, but it covers like it does cover an understanding that you can gather from and how she was worked with in Pompeii as a universal deity. Like everything that other deities would be seen as ruling over, it was all on her, and that goes on all her ethics, what she stands for. So so they saw all her ethics as her, so they weren't using them, but it is her, and so yeah, so she was seen as a universal deity, which isn't a UPG to what everyone has her down as. It's historical evidence to say that, this is fact, this is what happened, this is how she was worked with in Pompeii. She was a very, very important deity in the Roman religion. Very, very important deity in the Roman religion. Aphrodite, I would say, is an extremely underrated deity. She is very, 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 very underrated. I really don't think that she generally gets enough credit for what she does and what she stands for. And I know that my area is basically all Aphrodite, because we have a big nature park, we have, the sea connection, the seafront. So this is entirely her area. So yeah, in my path I do see Aphrodite as a universal deity, but I also see the nymphs, Pleiades, Eros not far behind her, and Aphrodite, Coloris Flora, was connected to the nymphs. I do see them as, as ruling alongside her, and also the muses. So I would say, they're all important to me. They're all important to me. you know, all of them are. You know, I live in an area where I really connect to them, you know, and I do also work with other aspects of themselves, like love is a universal thing, you know, the sun, the moon, the stars, you know. Obviously I connect with being a mother. I connect the Milky Way to Aphrodite, you know, as her creation of the Milky Way, and you know, with the Pleiades ruling alongside her with the seven, you know, the seven sisters group of stars. You know, so I basically see the nymphs, the muses, three graces, you know, as all her children, but that's just my UPG on things. And that would also go on the fact because I am a mother as well, so I would have a really strong mother connection to her, as well as obviously the area and, you know, love aspect and self-love and everything. I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but I'll show you anyway, if you can see. If you can see it, it's Aphrodite. I think it's either Roman or Edwardian. A member of staff got it for me, they bought it for me. Member of staff from work, they bought it for me. It's Aphrodite. I think it's either Victorian or Edwardian jewellery. I'm not quite sure, but I like it. You know, I was really happy that they bought it for me. You know, it was really nice of them to do. I know that when my manager came back from Zante, because she went to Greece, she didn't unfortunately get to go see Olympia, but she says next time she goes to Zante, she will be going to Olympia. She brought me back 2 Greek magnets of the male Greek deities and the female Greek deities, because they know at work that I'm really into the ancient Greek culture and Roman and Egyptian, and I'm really fond of, you know, the deities, and you know, they're and then my manager brought me that back, so I was like so happy. It just really made my day. You know, it was so nice of her to think of me and, you know, bring me that back. So, and they're on my fridge now, so yeah, it was so nice of her to do that. So that's it for now, guys. I thought to just do that video of Venus de Milo and how she was worked with in Pompeii, and you know, how I see her in my path and the other deities I see ruling alongside her, and you know, Eros not far behind her, and also her son as well. But I think I can also see him as another important deity, as ruling, you know, alongside her, you know, as well as also being her son as well. So that would be my own kind of UPG, I reckon. Because at the end of the day, you can see deities to how you want. It's your path, it's no one else's business really. You know, if other people judge what you do, just tell them to get lost. You know, they're not involved in your path, you're involved in it. So it's as long as if you're respectful and don't, you know, swear at the deities and say that they've been an absolute bitch to you, because for a deity to be evil, they would have already had to have been evil to begin with. You know, and because deities are all, you know, they're a lot different from us, and they generally don't revolve around being evil. So, you know, because obviously if someone calls, you know, Aphrodite, you know, a bitch, you know, I'm pretty sure that she would literally destroy them completely, you know, especially when she's a very underrated goddess and she doesn't get the credit that she deserves. I think the last thing that she would actually do to people is be a bitch. You know, she generally would want people to, you know, to get involved with her and, you know, to find comfort in her, and, you know, as well as also introduce yourself to her family members and, you know, get them involved also, so you're just in one big happy family. You know, that's pretty much to why I see them all as ruling alongside her, because in a way, you know, the nymphs are, nature is, you know, part of her, so the nymphs will be connected to her, you know, and it's why I see them all as ruling alongside her. So I would say that they're all of great importance to me, and I would say that they're all universal, you know, and, you know, the deities that I work with, including Pegasus and Orion, you know, I would say that they're all universal to me, you know, including relatives, you know, of Aphrodite who've been a mother. So, and that's me just showing appreciation to them all, and, you know, seeing the beauty beauty in them all, and loving them all. And you know, I just, you know, because I've been so busy with Aphrodite things, you know, like I'm running a Facebook group on Aphrodite, so if you are interested in that group, I will link it in the comment below. I will link it in the description below, rather. You know, it's also gathering the time, but I do have a travel log on my phone, so it will make it a bit easier when I'm in York to, you know, spend time with them all. But yeah, because I'm also a mother as well, so I've got my mother duties, and it's fitting in meditation and everything, and obviously work, because obviously I'm also focused on work as well, so obviously everything takes a step back with, so obviously, you know, work comes first, and obviously being a parent as well, so yeah, it's getting there slowly, I would say. Sorry, just bear with me a minute, because I'm having to concentrate, so I'm crossing the road here. Just bear with me 1 minute. Have any accidents, can we? There we go, sorry about that, guys. I just needed full concentration, obviously, when I'm crossing the road, because we don't want any accidents. So yeah, so that's it for this video, guys, because I'm nearly at work now. So I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope this video's helped you in understanding to how Venus de Milo, Aphrodite, was worked with in Pompeii, and I hope that it inspires you to keep doing what you do in your own path, and yeah, and just stay positive, optimistic, even when things go wrong. You know, there is always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. So just one more last thing to say to you guys is just to keep smiling always, and I will see you in the next video. Love you guys, bye.